Last time in Bagan, I found myself temple hopping through ancient ruins, led by my ex and her mom. We offer gold leaf at sacred sites, stood in the shadow of 1,000-year-old stupas, and got a spiritual crash course in Burmese Buddhism, all while I nodded along in silence, with no internet and no clue what was going on. And in between all the enlightenment, food, a lot of food. A 30-plus dish Bagan feast, to be exact. But here's the thing. Turns out that wasn't even dinner. In the second half of the Bagan journey, I'm digging into even more local food. A traditional meal by the temple, a mysterious lacquerware rice tray that served like an ancient royal offering, and a farewell feast that ends with a tower of fried chicken, dishes I've never seen, and plants I didn't even know were edible. Between bites, I visited a pagoda that collapsed into the river, a reconstructed Golden Palace, a temple filled with hundreds of hand-painted Buddhas, and a pagoda that people say is powerful. This is the end of the Bagan trip, but it's just as rich, revealing, and flavorful as the beginning. Let's dive into part 2, starting with a bowl of mohinga.
For dinner, I am trying mohinga. This is my first time having mohinga in Myanmar and also my first time having mohinga like ever. Mohinga is considered the national dish of Myanmar, and it looks to me like this is a rice noodle in a thick soup with a bunch of ingredients, and we have an egg, gourd pieces. All right, I'm gonna have to try it. And also in Myanmar, you eat noodle, rice noodle or wheat noodle with a spoon only, which I think it's a little strange by the first sight. In other countries like Thailand, you eat noodle with spoon and a fork, and in China you eat it with chopsticks, which I think is the best way to eat noodles. But here, it is spoon only. I have tried to eat noodle with a spoon only before, like khao soi. I have to say it's very difficult, at least for me, to eat noodle with a spoon only, but today I'm gonna try it. Well, it will take me a few more bites to process the flavor. But I think it's good. This is basically a thick broth that is umami, a little savory, and you have many different components in it. A little bit crunchy from it. I don't know if that's a pork skin or something. Rice noodle have completely soaked up all the flavor. And egg. Fish soup base that is slightly thickened with all kinds of added ingredients. Maybe some fried pork crackling, some gourds. I don't know if that's potato or chickpeas or yellow peas that has thickened the soup with a bit of body. Now I'm gonna put in some addition with a squeeze of lime, some cilantro, a small amount of chili flake for the heat. That chili flake is spicy, although I did not add a lot. It is quite spicy. A bit of the acid from the lime lift the dish. Well, now I have mohinga. It's pretty good.
After finishing our mohinga, we took a stroll around Bupaya, just a short walk from where we eaten. Perched on the edge of Alodawpyi River, Bupaya is believed to be one of the Bagan's oldest religious monuments, possibly dating back to the 3rd century under King Bupaya. Its name, Gourd Pagoda, reflects the shape of its bulbous body. But what we see today is an ancient stone. It's a modern reconstruction. The original pagoda was reduced to rubble by the devastating earthquake in 1975. Its dome shattered and collapsed into the river. In its place rose a reinforced concrete structure, not an exact replica, but a gilded reinterpretation. Bupaya today is a riverside sanctuary, a place where locals gather, offer quiet prayers, or simply sit with the wing of the water, just as we did. I thought the mohinga was my dinner, considering I already had a huge meal of over 30 dishes for lunch, but it turned out that was just my pre-dinner. For my actual dinner, we went to a place called Treasure Restaurant, a very popular spot among the locals and tourists alike. It offers a variety of cuisines, and we were of course here for the Myanmar dishes. I was here for the special dishes only to be found in Bagan. I don't know what the official name is, but I call it the Bagan rice tray. It came in a black lacquerware of traditional Burmese style called sum ok, a kind of offering vessel. Inside the vessel, there were different compartments holding different food items, such as rice, pork curry, different veggies, and pastes. It looks delicious, and it's time to dig in.
Okay, so let's try the food. We have all these items here. Let me start with something light, eggplant. So this is a Bagan style, only in Bagan, so like Burmese, Baganese food. Well, this is just eggplant. Just like the eggplant dish we eat for lunch, pretty much tastes the same. Not a whole lot of seasoning, just the flavor for itself. Chinese cabbage. Pretty much just stir-fried Chinese cabbage, but with a little bit of sugar, because I taste a hint of sweetness. Then here we have the peas. This is not yellow peas because it's a lot smaller. I don't know if that's lentil, yellow lentil or something. I think this is in some Indian cuisine as well. I don't know if this split peas doesn't look exactly like that, but similar. I'm pretty sure this is using some kind of Bengali cuisine, but here is just like simple pea flavor. Okay, this is what? Fried onions and chili flakes. Similar to the dish I had at lunch, this little fried mantobang bread thing, but this is without the bread, just this. Spicy, savory, fried onion flavor. This cracker, this I don't know. I think this is red bean mashed into patties and fried. I think that's the red bean paste into cracker. A little bit of shrimp paste, a little bit of salt. So it's a bit salty, and you have that fermented funky flavor from it. But this one is not, it's not crispy. It's a little brittle. Lastly, pork curry. This is good. Pretty much the same as the dish I had for lunch. Slightly seasoned with spice, a little bit oil, some chili, but not a lot of heat. I think this is a cross between Indian and Chinese. A little bit like a super mild nihari and a cross with some like Chinese pork stew, maybe rib braised. Okay, very special experience. And here I brought soup, chicken soup. Well, this one's a little spicy. You don't see chili, a whole lot of chili in it. In fact, I don't think you see any chili in it. But it's definitely spicy. It's like the bird's eye chili type of spiciness in there. Some tomato, some chicken, some lime for the acidity, and a little bit of a cilantro. This is a spicy sauce, spicy condiment. I mean, this one looks pretty spicy. I think this is similar to maybe some Chinese chili dip. Yeah, pretty much like that. A little smoky and also a little bit, I don't know if that's like pickle, but more smoky. It's somewhat spicy. Lastly, I have this is called pennyware salad. I think I had things like this before, but I just couldn't remember. But the name sounds familiar, yet unfamiliar at the same time. Check this out. There's raw onion, there's tomato, so it's refreshing. The pennyworts, I definitely had somewhere before. I just couldn't remember. The flavor is sort of herbal, grassy, leafy type of flavor. I also have this tea leaf mixture to try. There's definitely chili in it, a little bit spicy, and there's also a bit of like fermented flavor. And in fact, this reminds me of doubanjiang, the classic Sichuan fermented broth sauce with chili. It tastes somewhat like that, but not quite the same. The doubanjiang is red, but this is green because of the mixture of the tea leaves, which you can taste, and you also taste a little bit of the fermented chili flavor, but without the broth sauce. Quite interesting, and that is pretty much this meal. I'm so full. I have to call it a day.
Next day. This was our last day in Bagan. But we still had a morning to explore more wonders of this ancient city. We continued the journey of visiting more pagodas and offering prayers. Alodawpyi Pagoda rarely makes it to the guidebooks, and when we visited, its entrance were covered in scaffolding, with no signs to hint the treasures within. Inside, the walls and central pillars come to life with intricate murals. Rows upon rows of seated Buddha images, repeating like secret mantras in painted form. Glass panels now protect these relics of faith. Soft lights filter through cross-shaped perforations, gently illuminating the painted sanctuary. Along the walls, small shrine alcoves hold Buddha images. Worshippers bow quietly, whispering scriptures, offering flowers and prayers. Alodawpyi might not command the skyline, but it holds something unique. Stillness, intimacy, and the quiet continuity of devotion. A lesser-known gem in Bagan's vast constellation of secret spaces. Then, we visited Bagan Golden Palace. I requested to visit it because of its size, but soon realized it's not a ruin of any kind, but rather of a reconstruction. I'm usually not a fan of this type, but it did offer a glimpse into the grandeur of Bagan's royal past. We then visited Htilominlo Temple. Constructed in the early 13th century under King Alodawpyi, it marks the spot where he was chosen to succeed the throne. Architecturally, it blends elegance with strength, from the ornamental doorways along its flanks to the soaring tiers that crown its central spire. Even the smallest carving on its outer walls hold quite a charm. Inside, the temple holds 4 grand Buddha images facing the cardinal directions, all fully gilded. Htilominlo is less visited than Ananda or Dhammayangji, but it holds its own with subtle beauty.
This is Shwezigon Pagoda, coming to you with a traditional dress.
We came to Shwezigon because my ex-mother told us this pagoda is powerful. It was under restoration. Its true bell-shaped stupa hidden beneath scaffolding and protective mesh. Initiated by King Anabrata in 1059 and completed by its son King Jansita in 1102, it enshrines relics of the Buddha, including a tooth and a bone. A covered corridor winds through the compound, connecting shrines and structures. Above each section, scripts are inscribed, usually dedications by donors or sponsors. Apart from the central stupa, the grounds are dotted with smaller temples in which curious figures draped in gold leaf. These aren't Buddhas, they're Nats, guardian spirits of Burmese belief. Locals offers not just reverence, but coins, bills, flowers, and prayers. That was the last pagoda, and we were saying goodbye to Bagan. Before leaving for Yangon, we stopped at a roadside restaurant to have one last epic meal on this journey.
Now we are leaving Bagan, and for lunch I'm eating at this place I cannot name. It is nearby Bagan on the road to Yangon, and I couldn't read Burmese, so I don't know the name, but this place serves a special type of chicken called lap. What is that called? Lapapiem. Lapambia, right, okay. And this restaurant serves a special type of chicken called lapambia, which is this grilled chicken which looks absolutely beautiful, and all the ladies are presenting it in a big plate on their shoulders, even on their heads. Beautiful display, and they also have a series of curries, and we ordered some food just to try some of those. I have been eating Burmese food for a while, so I kind of have an idea of what is what. So I'm gonna start with some of these dishes. As you can see, absolutely beautiful display here. Okay, so first one, this one is, I think that's the pork curry. I had a few times. I really like this style of eating because you can choose like multiple dishes in smaller portions to sample more different varieties. I don't know if there is a name for this style of eating. In Thailand, this is called khao gan, so you have many different dishes. But here I have consulted with a few locals. They have yet to come up with a name for this, so maybe that's just the way to eat. So first, pork curry. Good. Here we have the fried chili flakes and onions. This is from Shan State. I also had this a few times. One of the variations is with small fried bum bread pieces. And this one I'm not sure. Maybe it looks like bamboo shoots. Chili flakes on it. This one also looks like bamboo shoots, but in bigger pieces. I think this is a fresh version of bamboo shoots. Both are pretty good. The other one has a slightly sour pepper note. This one doesn't. Also, I need to correct myself a little bit. This is actually not bamboo, but a plant from under the water. And this thing that you can't find it on Google because this thing is so local. But it does taste a little bit like bamboo though. Yeah, I mean, for the look of it now I can tell it's actually not bamboo. It looks a little similar, but this one is more like it's not like a bamboo shoot. It's like some kind of stem or maybe something. And the texture and flavor is sort of similar, but I think this one's maybe not as crunchy. It has more of a leek feel. So bamboo shoots plus a little bit leaky texture. That makes sense. In fact, this is also not bamboo. This is mango. I don't know what part it is, but the texture is also a little similar to bamboo shoots to some degree. This looks like tea leaf salad type of thing. Well, yes, tea leaf is such a signature in Burmese cuisine. And this version doesn't use too much of condiments to make a mixture. Some versions has a lot of different stuff. This one I think is actually just mostly tea leaf, a little bit onion, and a little bit chili flakes. So you really get that pure tea leaf flavor coming through for this one. Then here we have our pennywort salad. I just had this yesterday night. This one looks very photogenic. And in fact, all the dishes here together presented look photogenic. Really refreshing, not that sour. Has maybe a bit of acid for seasoning, crispy and crunchy. This is something I haven't tried before. This is called temomboe, a tree flower, and with some tomato slices. Tastes a little bit similar to the tea leaf salad. It's more of just leafy flavor, but I think this one is pretty good too. So here in this plate we have 3 items. This is temomboe, the tree flower. This is lapetok, tea leaf salad, and this is bamboo shoots. They all look pretty similar though, right? Here we have some yellow beans. I think I had this yesterday as well, but this one's maybe like fried. Oh, this is some, I don't know what type of bean is this, some kind of small yellow peas. This one almost tastes exactly like some of the Chinese dish. Now we have an interesting one. This black blob disc thing with chicken organ. I couldn't tell, maybe this is like a chicken organ patty smashed and pressed into this shape. Let's see what this thing is about. I can sort of pull apart this disc with my fork and spoon. So I'm getting a piece of this undescribable dark blob. Okay, so it looks like this. It is surprisingly not bad tasting at all. It is actually kind of good. It's almost like a cross between chicken liver mousse and fish cake in terms of the texture. The flavor is a little bit livery, but not like strong. It's kind of like a chicken liver mousse type of flavor, but with a bit more livery note from it. That's quite interesting. I actually kind of like this one, believe it or not. And here we have another thing that looks like tea leaf and fried peanuts with some sesame. Definitely fried peanuts, very crispy. I can feel it just by the sound. Oh, you heard that sound? That's just the sound between the spoon and the peanuts. Really, really crispy. Is that peanuts or is that yellow beans? I think this is still yellow peas, just in a different shape. A little bit of tea leaf, a little oily, and also a bit of spiciness in there. You can see this one goes really well with wine. Then here I have this soup with big leafy greens and some gourds. So the cuisine in this region, like Myanmar and some part of Thailand, and now they just use so many herbs, like leaves and stuff. You just don't know the name. The leaf is bitter. This is interesting. I think the philosophy is similar to maybe like you put bitter melon, like bitter gourd in a soup that create that sensation. But this is achieved with the leaf, because in Chinese food philosophy, and I believe in Southeast Asia philosophy as a whole, a moderate amount of bitterness is good for your body, your health. A little bit like warmth and detox, and this is doing that. The soup itself is not bitter. The soup is fine. The soup is good. A little more full body than some of the other thing soup. I don't know if it's maybe thickened with some kind of like starch, because here I just have the gourd and the leaves, but it has like just a more body to it. It's interesting and it's good. This leafy bitter soup also has this like a flower bulb type of thing in it, and it looks quite similar to the flour that you use in the Thai curry gansong. Okay, maybe not so similar. This is just bitter. The one in gansong is a little sweet and a little bitter at the same time. But okay, yeah, I learned that leaves and flowers seem to be bitter here. Now, finally, this is time to get into our much anticipated Alodawpyi grilled chicken. Oh, look at this. What is this some kind of like wood stick supporting the chicken so it kind of like opens up? And the color is absolutely beautiful. We have, oh, I think this is a whole chicken pieces. See, like two different parts. Right, so this is the breast part with the wing and stuff, and this is the thigh. So together they form a full body part. Okay, so the way to do it is just to pull apart and eat it. It's really greasy, so this has to be like a hand operations, and I'm just a little bit afraid that if I pull this a little too hard, this oil might splatter on my shirts. But oh, yes. Okay, grab a small piece on the rib. Very flavorful. It's a little difficult to pull this apart. I'm not very experienced in this, but oh, okay. Yes, much more challenging than I expected. I think some of the parts looks, I mean, it's not raw, it's fully cooked, but it also almost has a little bit like pink type of quality to it. And here, this is the dipping sauce, Myanmar specialty. Sweet, a little sour, more spicy, but this is much more spicy than the Thai version I had. But pretty much in essence, those sauce taste more or less the same. Is this black chicken? Because the feet looks black. Also the skin. Flavor is Yoroshin umami, but I do feel like this one can use a bit more roasting times just to get it a bit more crispy. Don't you think this one looks a little raw? Is that normal?
It is normal.
It's normal, right? It's a little raw inside, right? Oh, okay. Is that safe?
Yes.
Okay. Because the first time the chicken we had at Field Express, it's more fully roasted. This one feels like inside it's almost a little bit like raw, rare. So I don't know if that's normal. It is, right?
They fry the chickens.
Oh, okay.
They're so fresh.
Okay. I mean, this thing is, I think it's almost like a little raw, but if it's this morning fresh chicken, I'm gonna eat it. It's good. I just prefer a little bit more cooked time. I mean, this one looks more cooked. You see, this one looks a little more rare. This is a properly fried one. Let me try this one. I think this is better because it's more cooked. Because chicken has to be fully cooked. So when I see the color, I was like, it looks a little rare. I'm full. Okay, I think that's a wrap for the video. Like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.